Taurus, take a deep breath now. I need you to really stop and breathe, because what I'm about to tell you will finally make everything make sense. It's over. That weight you've been carrying, that constant struggle, that seemingly endless cycle, it's over. And it's not a temporary pause. It's not a momentary relief that will disappear in a few days. It's a definitive, permanent, irreversible end. You've achieved something so rare that most people spend their entire lives without ever getting it. You've broken a pattern that has imprisoned you for years, maybe decades, and from now on, your life will never be the same. I know you're probably confused right now, trying to understand exactly what I'm talking about, but deep down, there's a part of you that has already felt this change happening, that strange feeling of lightness that started appearing in the last few weeks. That moment when you realize that something that used to hurt you deeply no longer has the same power over you. That situation that kept you awake at night and that suddenly seems distant, as if it belongs to another life. You're not imagining this. It's real. It's the end of a cycle of trials that tested you to the limit. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly what you've overcome, why you'll never go through that again, and most importantly, what this means for your future from now on. I'm going to show you why you deserve this victory, even if you can't yet fully see how strong you were to get here. And I'm going to prepare you to embrace the new phase of your life that's beginning now, a phase where you will finally reap the rewards of everything you've sown with so much suffering and perseverance. Can you feel that something fundamental has changed within you, even if you can't yet name exactly what it is? Congratulations, Taurus. You survived your own personal hell. And not only did you survive, you emerged transformed, stronger, wiser, more prepared for the extraordinary life that was always destined for you. The universe put you through a brutal purification process, where everything false in your life had to be burned away, so that the true could emerge, and you went through the fire without being consumed by it. This is a monumental achievement that needs to be recognized and celebrated. How long did you feel trapped? How many sleepless nights did you spend wondering if that situation would ever change? How many times did you want to give up, but something inside you insisted on continuing? How many tears did you shed thinking that no one saw, no one understood, no one recognized how much you were fighting? All of that is over. Not because life decided to pity you, but because you finally gained the inner strength needed to close that chapter once and for all. What you need to understand is that you will never go through that again, because you are no longer the same person who entered that experience. You have evolved so profoundly that that type of situation simply cannot exist in your reality anymore. It's as if you've leveled up and now operate at a completely different frequency. The problems that tormented you before can no longer reach you because you are vibrating in an energetic place where they don't exist. For those born in Taurus between April 20th and April 30th, what has ended is a cycle of toxic relationships or emotional situations that completely drained your energy. You have finally learned to set healthy boundaries and will never again allow someone to use your loyalty against you. For those born between May 1st and May 10th, the end has come to a pattern of financial or professional self-sabotage. You have broken the belief that you didn't deserve abundance and prosperity. And for those born between May 11th and May 20th, a cycle of deep insecurity about your personal worth has ended. You finally see yourself as you truly are, valuable, capable, and deserving of good things. But regardless of when you were born, all Taurians are ending a cycle of unnecessary suffering caused by a single limiting belief, the idea that you needed to prove your worth through suffering, that if it wasn't difficult, it had no value, that you needed to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders to be worthy of love and respect. This belief has just been completely destroyed, and with it, an entire universe of pain that it created goes away. Are you ready to finally live in a light, fluid, abundant way, without needing to suffer to deserve it, Taurus? I know you've always been a pillar of strength for everyone around you, the reliable person who never falters, who always endures a little longer, who carries the responsibilities that others abandon. But no one ever asked you, who supports you when you're about to fall? Who gives you strength when your own is running out? The answer is that you had to learn to be your own source of support. And in doing so, in discovering this inner strength you didn't even know you had, you freed yourself from the need to depend on external validation. What's over is the version of you that thought you needed to be strong all the time for everyone. The version that carried burdens that weren't yours. The version that accepted less than you deserved because you were afraid of being alone or disappointing someone. That version is dead. And in its place, someone has been born who knows that true strength includes vulnerability, that carrying your own problems is enough, and that accepting only what truly resonates with your heart isn't selfishness, it's wisdom. You'll never go through this again because you finally understood the lesson the universe was trying to teach you all this time. The lesson wasn't about enduring more, suffering more, sacrificing more. The lesson was about recognizing your own worth without needing to prove anything to anyone. It was about setting healthy boundaries without guilt. It was about choosing your own well-being without feeling selfish. And you learned this lesson the hard way, by living with the consequences of not knowing it. In the coming days and weeks, you will begin to notice concrete changes in your life that reflect this inner transformation. Situations that previously caused you deep anxiety will now seem simple and manageable. People who used to manipulate you emotionally will no longer be able to affect you. Behavioral patterns that trapped you in destructive cycles will simply disappear from your life as if they never existed. And you will find yourself thinking, why did I accept that for so long? The answer is that you needed to go through that to get here. Not because suffering itself has value, but because the transformation that happens when you emerge from suffering is too precious. You cannot truly value freedom without having experienced imprisonment. You cannot truly appreciate peace without having lived through chaos. You cannot recognize your own strength without having been tested to the limit. And now that you have gone through all of that and come out whole on the other side, you carry a wisdom that no book, no course, no advice could have given you. Congratulations on having the courage to persevere when everything inside you screamed to give up. Congratulations on having the Taurian persistence that kept you standing when much smaller situations would have destroyed other people. Congratulations on having the loyalty to yourself that finally made you realize you deserved better. This victory is yours and no one else's. You achieved it with your sweat, your tears, your unwavering determination, and no one can take that away from you now. Do you feel the pride growing in your chest when you think about everything you've overcome? The end of this cycle doesn't mean your life will become perfect overnight. There will still be challenges. There will still be difficult moments. There will still be situations that will test you. But the difference is that you now have the internal tools to deal with these challenges in a completely new way. You know who you are. You know your worth. You understand your limits. You recognize when something doesn't serve your highest good. And most importantly, you have the courage to act on that knowledge. The new phase that is beginning for you now is characterized by something you have rarely experienced in adult life: ease. Not the ease of having everything handed to you without effort, but the ease that comes from being aligned with who you truly are. When you stop fighting against your own nature, when you stop trying to be who others want you to be, when you stop accepting situations that go against your fundamental values, everything becomes easier, not because the problems disappear, but because you have clarity on how to deal with them. You will begin to attract people and situations into your life that resonate with this new version of you. People who respect your boundaries instead of constantly trying to push them. Situations that nurture your energy instead of draining it. Opportunities that honor your natural talents and abilities instead of demanding that you be something you're not. And the most beautiful thing of all, you will finally feel that you are living your life, not a diluted version of it to accommodate the expectations of others. What died was the need to suffer in order to grow. What was born was the capacity to evolve through joy, expansion, and the pleasure of being alive. You broke the vicious cycle that said if something is good, it's because it won't last or because you don't deserve it. Now you are entering a virtuous cycle where good things attract more good things, where you deserve all the wonderful things that are coming, where happiness doesn't need to be accompanied by guilt or fear of loss. Taurus, throughout all these years of struggle, you've probably wondered if it was worth continuing to try, if it wouldn't be easier to give up, settle, accept that things are just the way they are, and that you should stop expecting something better. But you didn't do that. Even in the darkest moments, when hope seemed ridiculous and naive, you kept a small flame of faith burning that things could be different. And that flame is what has guided you to where you are today. Now looking back, you can see that every challenge, every disappointment, every moment of pain was preparing you for this moment of liberation. It was strengthening you, teaching you, molding you into the person you needed to become to finally get out of that situation. If you had gotten what you wanted before, you wouldn't have valued it. If someone had saved you, you would never have discovered that you had the power to save yourself. It was necessary to go through all that to get here, and it was worth every second. The universe has a peculiar way of teaching us the most important lessons. It doesn't give us what we ask for. It gives us what we need to become who we asked to be. And you asked, consciously or unconsciously, to be free. Free from the emotional shackles that bound you. Free from the destructive patterns that repeated themselves. Free from the need for external approval. Free from the belief that you weren't enough. And to give you that freedom, the universe had to put you in situations where you had no choice but to find the strength within yourself. You'll never go through that again because you no longer need to learn that lesson. You've completely mastered it. And now you're ready for lessons on a completely different level. Lessons about abundance, about receiving, about allowing good things to happen without sabotaging, about trusting that you deserve all the best that life has to offer. These are much more enjoyable lessons to learn, and you're finally qualified for them. Over the next few months, observe how your life begins to reflect this inner shift that has taken place. You will notice that certain people simply leave your life without drama, without conflict. They just naturally drift away because they no longer resonate with your new frequency. You will realize that opportunities begin to appear in ways that previously seemed impossible. You will be surprised by your own ability to make quick and assertive decisions about what serves or does not serve your highest good. And most importantly, you will experience moments of genuine peace. Not that superficial peace that comes from avoiding problems, but the deep peace that comes from knowing who you are and being at peace with that. The peace that comes from having clear boundaries and the courage to maintain them. The peace that comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you have the inner resources to deal with it. That is the peace you have earned. No one can take it away from you now. Congratulations on getting this far. Congratulations on not giving up when you had every reason to. Congratulations on believing you deserved better even when all the evidence pointed to the contrary. Congratulations on having the Taurian stubbornness that refuses to accept permanent defeat. You are stronger than you imagine, more resilient than you realize, more valuable than you believe. And finally, you are entering a phase of life where you will be able to fully experience these qualities without having to prove anything to anyone. The end of this cycle also marks the beginning of something entirely new. You're not just closing a difficult phase, you're opening the door to possibilities that didn't even exist for you while you were stuck in that old pattern. It's as if you've been living in a small, dark room, and suddenly someone opens the curtains and you realize there's a whole house around you that you didn't even know was there. That's the level of expansion that's available to you now. The life you've lived so far has been preparation. The life that begins now is fulfillment. Everything you've been through has equipped you with skills, wisdom, and strength that will serve you from now on in ways you can't even fully imagine yet. You didn't waste time suffering. You were in intensive training for an extraordinary life. And now that the training is over, it's time to live what you came here to do. Taurus, you have always been resilient. You have always been determined. You have always been able to endure more than most people. But now you will discover that you no longer need to use these qualities to survive. You will be able to use them to thrive, to create, to build exactly the life you want. Your strength no longer needs to be defensive. It can be creative. Your resilience no longer needs to be about enduring pain. It can be about maintaining consistency towards your dreams. What you will never experience again is that feeling of being trapped in something that drains your energy and gives you nothing in return. That feeling of giving your all and receiving crumbs. That feeling of knowing you deserve better, but not having the courage to make the necessary changes. All of that is over because you finally made the changes. You finally chose yourself. You finally recognized your own worth. And that choice changed everything. In the coming days, when you wake up, you'll feel something different. A lightness that wasn't there before. A feeling that the future is no longer something to fear, but something to anticipate with excitement. A quiet confidence that no matter what comes, you have the capacity to handle it. That's the feeling of true freedom. That's the reward for everything you faced. And you deserve every second of that good feeling. Celebrate this victory, Taurus. It doesn't matter if no one else understands the magnitude of what you've accomplished. You know, and that's what matters. You know how hard you fought. You know how much it hurt. You know how difficult it was to keep going when everything indicated you should give up. And you know that you've come out on the other side not only whole, but stronger, wiser, more complete than you've ever been. That deserves to be celebrated and honored. If this message has reached you now, it's no coincidence. It's the universe confirming what you were already feeling, that something fundamental has changed, that you truly succeeded, that it's really over. Share in the comments if you're feeling this lightness, this relief, this feeling that you can finally breathe after holding your breath for so long. Your words will help other Taurians recognize that they too have gone through this transformation. Subscribe to the channel now, because what comes after this liberation is just as exciting as the liberation itself. You'll need guidance on how to navigate this new phase, how to receive the blessings that are coming, and how to handle the abundance that's on its way. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any messages that will support you as you build your new life on the solid foundation you've just laid. Remember, it's over, really, completely. Definitely. You'll never go through that again because you're no longer the person who entered that experience. You've evolved beyond that level of challenge. And now you're ready to live the life that was always possible for you, but was blocked while that cycle lasted. The blockage is over, the door is open, and you are finally free to be everything you were always meant to be.